everyone. I hope you're doing okay this evening. Another late upload. I'm so sorry. Thank you for watching. I say that because I read an article today which was looking at what if you reframe I'm sorry as thank you and show gratitude for people's patience or gratitude for a situation rather than beating yourself up and then asking or demanding basically through your actions that someone reassure you. So I will link that if I can. It's an interesting read. I don't necessarily subscribe to it, but I thought I'd see how it goes. And today I have another day where I don't have anything planned. So what I'm essentially going to do is we're getting really near the end of this sugar-free challenge now, like crazy near. I have plans for what I want to eat. Let's put it that way. I mean, I don't want to go OTT, so my initial plan is just a bowl of chocolate granola, which doesn't even have artificial sugar in it. I could go downstairs and eat it right now. It is sweetened with dates, and it just has dates and cocoa powder and no sugars in it, no maple syrups, no fruit juice. It's 100% fine for me to eat right now, but because I've got that mentality of, oh no, chocolate, it sounds too close to cheating, I haven't had it, and what I'm looking forward to is just easing my way in with that. But I also really, 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 really love the idea of making or getting Nick to make, hint, hint, nudge, nudge to my partner there, vegan rocky road. We could even maybe do it together. That might be fun. I could video us bickering over how best to go about making this rocky road, or I could just video myself going about it, show you how I'm going to blag it. The thing is, a lot of people, when I post up my meals, they ask me, what's the ingredients? What's the recipe? How do you make this? Can I have the measurements? And my honest response is, I am terrible for that sort of thing. I literally I grab whatever I have around. It's like, oh, I have broccoli, I have mushrooms, and I have chickpeas. Well, let's bash it all together. And I have this herb, that herb, that herb, that herb, and that spice. Let's see how it goes. I don't measure that much out. Bish, bash, bosh, stick it in. I typically always use pepper and salt. So if you want go-tos, those would be two of my favourites. I'm a bit hipster, so I use Himalayan rock salt, but any old salt would do. And I don't measure it, and then I get on with it. I cook it, and it's done. Alternatively, I rely a lot on jarred sauces. I didn't realise just how much I relied on them until the sugar-free month, where it's like, I could do a spaghetti bolognese. Yeah, but then I'd have to get tinned tomatoes or normal tomatoes and make my own sauce and stuff, and that my brain's gone, yeah, actually fair enough. Or I want a creamy sauce. Yeah, but do you really want to blend the cashews? No, I'd rather just have the Meridian one and just wait a little while until I'm done. Because obviously, as we know, a lot of those jarred sauces, a lot of soups and stuff like that have quite a fair bit of hidden sugar or sugar that you wouldn't expect. So I've been missing out on those. Not that I've actually felt like I've missed them that much, to be honest, but as part of my lazy diet, when everyone's saying, oh my god, that sweet and sour looks so amazing, what do? I'm literally thinking, I buy a jar of Sainsbury's sweet and sour, and I put it in with mushrooms and peppers and chickpeas or another sort of bean, and yeah, I'm done. or a mixed stir fry, just buying a default pack of mixed stir fry. I'm not some magical chef maestro. I just typically I grab whatever is in the discount section. So this is my very frugal vegan tip. Do your shopping based on what is discounted in the veg section, and then work out your meals from there, because it's just so easy to smack anything together with veg and add it with any sauces, add it with any spices. Your veggies and your beans and your pulses, they're versatile. They'll pretty much go with the flow. They'll go with whatever you add, and you end up looking like you've created a really delicious, wonderful, perfectly curated dish. Whereas really, you just went bish bash bosh, put in the sauce, and I'm done. Ah, yes, sort of thing. And then again, I guess that's no different to a microwave meal, or maybe just a pizza where you stick it in the oven, or anything else. I don't think I'd be scoring very highly on Come Dine With Me or any other cookery show, because I'm just not that way inclined for the most part. I'd love to, well, I do make things from scratch. I'd love to make more things from scratch. The one thing I really want to make from scratch, bread. It's probably easy, I just haven't got around to it. And of course, I'll be making the Rocky Road from scratch. So yeah, but even then, these are basic recipes. I think the thing with recipes is that you go through cookbooks and you're like, oh, this is so wonderful, this is so creative, this is amazing. Then you look at the list of ingredients and you're like, oh no, brain overload sort of thing. But typically, you can usually make most things that you like from a cookbook with stuff that you substitute from home. So, for example, noodle soup, or like, ramen. You can find some really intricate ingredients, recipes for that in various different cookbooks online, stuff like that. And I'm just there at home, like, I'm gonna grab some pasta, or in this case some udon noodles, or some whole wheat noodles, something like that. I will put in a vegetable stock, callo vegetable stock, a little bit of soy sauce, whatever veggies I want, usually sweet corn and sugar snap peas, and mushrooms that have been pre-cooked in soy sauce and fried up, and then some tofu for that nice protein boost. And then I just whack it all together and it's done. And I didn't have to buy like a bajillion different ingredients. Most of them are pretty standard. Most of them can also be used for other things. So the soy sauce will be used again. The vegetable stock will be used again. The noodles will be used again and can be used for different dishes. One of the things I really, really like, and this one's a bit more expensive because you have to buy oil. I forget which oil. Sesame oil. You have to buy sesame oil. But one of the things I really like to cook, typically for others, not for myself, is you get some noodles, you cook the noodles, then you get yourself a tiny little measuring jug or just a cup, just a usual cup, you put in your vegetable stock, you put in some soy sauce, you put in a teaspoon of sesame oil, and optionally you can put in some hoisin sauce. Some of that dipping sauce. Again, you'll reuse that. You'll reuse the oils. These are expensive investments maybe at first, unless you're getting it on offer, but then you'll reuse it. So you get all of that, you put it in a cup, you stir it all together with some hot water, and then once you've got your noodles, you put that in with a stir fry, and then you pour on this broth as much or as little as you want. You can make it as strong or as weak as you want. You let it cook, and that makes just the most delicious sauce. It's amazing. For an even lazier Asian dish, just fry up your stir fry up your noodles, get some sweet chili dipping sauce, put it on there with some soy sauce, stir it up, and you're done. Again, add some tofu if you want that protein, bish bash bosh, or mock duck, and it's it's easy. It's already done. You could add some peas or chickpeas or edamame, and yeah, it's really, it doesn't have to be as complicated as it seems in cookbooks. And I think the best way to go about cooking is to just experiment and chuck a bunch of stuff together, see what works. Which is why I really love the discounted veg idea, because literally it just forces you to buy what you can find. And then from there, you have to be creative. You think, where am I going with this? What am I going to do? What can I do? What do I feel confident in doing? Or maybe I'll try something new because it's not going to cost me too much. So there isn't as much of a repercussion sort of thing. And if you did invest in expensive ingredients, it's a case of when you buy them thinking, am I just getting it for this one dish, or is there a reusability factor here? Hoisin sauce, can I use it as a dipping sauce for spring rolls as well, for example? Or oil, how long will this oil last me? I know it's expensive, but if I'm only using a teaspoon at a time, is it gonna be worth it? And most of the time, yeah, probably is. Look at expiry dates. Be wary of that. Be wary of how long it can be opened after it's used. So, for example, quite a few recipes ask for apple puree for vegans, and that's really nice in theory, but in practice, I realistically know that I will, if I open a jar of apple puree, I will use it once in the time that it will take to expire, and then I just won't get around to using it enough again to justify buying it. So I don't buy it, and I find different substitutes. And the same goes with other things, and it's also why I like chutneys and preserves and stuff like that so much, because usually they last a little bit longer. But and it really is that easy. Easy. It can be daunting, but it really is that fun. I think that's the word I'm going to use. It's fun to mess about in the kitchen. It's fun to explore your options. And if you're really, really worried, then you can always have just one day a week where you experiment with a new recipe and see where you go from there. And if you get it wrong, don't beat yourself up. I mean, when I first got paprika, I went a bit paprika mad. And I made this dish for me and my partner, but I added way too much paprika and it just turned into this horrible grainy mess. And I just admitted that to myself, and I learned from it, and I moved on. And fair to say, I'm a bit more proportioned with my paprika now. And with my powders in general, you have to get a good water ratio in with them, or be quite sparing with them sometimes. So it always pays to practice a bit of moderation as well. Be enthusiastic, but also be sensible and know your limits. And don't be afraid to potentially push past them, but also just don't be afraid to tell yourself when you're ready to stop. I think leave it open for everything. Oh, it's all open. We're all good. It's easy breezy. That's the best way to go forward, I think. So I was actually going to do a video where I looked at the calories for different restaurants. I didn't look at the sugar content for different restaurants. I was going to do that. I was going to put it in a video and get it out to you guys. But what I actually found was that while none of them were exactly sugar-free, our recommended amount is 30 grams. Most of them for their dinners would have around anywhere from 7 to, at the highest I think I found was 27 grams, but that was rare. Most of them just sort of veered around in the 10 gram mark. And I was thinking to myself, is 10 grams really a bad amount of sugar to have in a single meal? If you've got 3 meals a day, if you're sensible about the other 2 meals and you want to treat yourself for dinner, no, it's not that ridiculous. But what I might do is look at different desserts. That seems so unfair though, because of course desserts are going to have loads of sugar in them. It's expected, but we might not expect just how much is in restaurant desserts. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. If not, then I will think of other topics to talk about in these last few days. I'm so excited. I hope you are too. And if you do want to donate in these last few days, I would be so, so grateful. Huge shout out to my friend Kat who donated recently. I love you. And I am going to leave it there. So I hope you enjoyed this little discussion about how I cook and why I've never found my recipes to be that amazing, and why I think that we should all give it a try and ways to go about that. So I'll see you in the next video. I love you all. Take care. Mwah. Bye.